Where is the leadership today of black folks, African Americans, so called? Both of them. Remember back in the 60s, we had Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. There was Frederick Douglass, even Marcus Garvey. Many leaders, 100 years passed within that period of time, that were black, so called, African American, so called, and way back when, even called Negro. But let us understand something, comprehend something, just to clarify and just to make a statement of truth. Even though we have grown accustomed to being called black, black is not a nationality. This is not difficult to understand. Black is a color. And the color that we refer to as black does not even identify all so-called black people, because we are of all shades. Lighter than myself, and then me, a little darker, brown, and then really dark. So how could all of those different shades be black? It would have to be a definitive statement when you say something is black, not almost black, nor near black, partially black. You have to simply be black. They're not different shades of red. Red is red. There's not different shades of yellow. Yellow is yellow. There's not even different shades of white. This is white. How can you have several shades of it? There's no human being that is white, actually. Do you know of anyone that you can hold this sheet of paper to that we call white paper? Do you know of any human being that you could hold this alongside them that would match this? So what does that say to you? These so-called colors of people is nothing more than a status. African American, that's a status. Negro, black, colored, those are all statuses. Now, what are we really? We are all part of the human family. So-called color is insignificant. But what is significant is our origin and where we came from, irrespective of the color or the tone of our skin or melanin. So my original question and premise for this video is to ask, where are the so-called black leaders? And I will use that term, black and African American, just for the sake of those who are accustomed to it. And that's most of us. But just wanting you to understand that it really does not identify me. I don't subscribe to black and African American, even though I know, I comprehend, I understand, and I overstand what it implies and who is referenced by that and those terms. But I know who I am. So, where are the black leaders of our community? Those who exist today, who are speaking out for the issues that black people are still having to suffer through. Inequality, racism, disproportionate to any other ethnic group in America and even in the world. Why are we still being treated like 3/5 of a human being. Why is it that our people are still being incarcerated in record numbers? Why is it that our people are still being profiled by the police? Why is that the unemployment still high in the black communities? So when the president says that unemployment levels are low, what group or class of people is he referring to? What parts of the country is he referring to? What zip codes is he referring to? Because it's not all across America that jobs are on the rise, not across America. Because I could see it in the neighborhood in which I have my business, that there is still a significant amount of poverty, working class poor, even struggling middle class that are both white and blacks. So, what figures is the President of the United States looking at when he says that unemployment is down and jobs have increased? Let's go figure. In my business, my store, I still continue to have compassion and empathy for those that have little and that are without. Why? It is the humane thing to do. There are some people who would turn their head the other way and ignore these people in these circumstances that they are undergoing. But they are human beings. They could be your mothers, your fathers, your daughters, your sisters, your brothers, your sons, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. They could be anyone from your family that's down and out, that's struggling continually from day to day just to meet their necessary needs. So, when black people get gunned down in the street, where are the black ministers, reverends, preachers, churches? Includes even the mega churches. Where are they at? Reaching out their hands to pull these people up. And for that matter, where are the churches, period? The mixed congregations, the white churches, the mega churches that rake in millions of dollars annually. What is their role in helping to offset some of the struggle that the poor people are going through in their own communities or even nearby communities? Where are the Dr. Kings? No one could ever take his place. Where are the Malcolm X's? No one could ever take his place because they had their own identity during the time in which they lived and their purpose. All they wanted is what we want, and that is fairness, and that is respect as men and women and human beings. This is what the Almighty Creator wants. He doesn't want those people that are in power to keep their foot on the necks of those people who have little to nothing forever, enriching themselves off the backs of the poor, the distraught, and the struggling. They continue to do this daily, weekly, monthly, annually, without relenting. This may sound like a rant, but it is just something to get you to think. We need not a Dr. King. not a Malcolm, nor a Marcus Garvey or a Frederick Douglass, nor any other single individual to stand up and speak for our cause. I can even say Barack Obama. But what we need is everyone as individuals to stand for that which is right and for that which is rightfully ours. We all deserve to have respect. When I say all, I'm talking about all human beings, especially black folks. We all deserve to be treated equally and with fairness. Everyone, every race, every ethnic group, male and female, men and women, and even children, irrespective of your origin, irrespective of your ethnic group or your belief system, we are all the children of God, the Creator. We are all the human family. But unfortunately, there are those who don't see us as such. There are those who have an agenda, who have always had an agenda of being superior to the rest of the world and making inferior those beneath them, and making certain that every effort is taken to keep those other individuals inferior, begging, groveling, suffering, and poor. So, my question to you today, and I'm not just speaking to the black folks, the African Americans, but I'm going to direct this to you right now. Have you made the decision today to stand up for your natural born rights? Or have you just simply decided to settle and say it's okay? Our people have been struggling so long and there seems to be no hope. There seems to be no one who has ever been in a position of power who has ever cared about us and has included us in the American family. Are you ready? Are you ready? And are you willing today to take a stand? You don't have to go up on the top of a mountain and speak, nor do you have to climb up on a pulpit in a church and speak. You can do that, but you can make your declaration right now and say that I'm tired of being tired, and I'm ready, and I've made a decision for myself and my family that I'm not going to be beaten down again, and that I'm going to decide today to stop allowing people to oppress me, because no human being, black, white, yellow, red, deserves to be underneath someone else's foot. No other human being deserves to be denied equal treatment and fairness. And I'm not going to say under a law. You don't need to make a law to give people rights that they were born with, that were endowed within them through the Creator. These rights were already ours. The right to be able to walk out of doors outside of your home and take a stroll down the street and not be harassed. The right to go into any public place and sit down watch a movie, have lunch or dinner in a restaurant, attend a play, go to a sporting event with your family, go to the park, go fishing with your son, go boating. We all have a right to these amenities and to these pleasures and to the entertainment that is provided for us. We all have a right to these things and not to have them infringed and violated by whomever. So why is it that black people still are going through the same things that we did 100 years ago and even longer? So, black folks, African Americans, white folks, red folks, yellow folks, I'm asking all of you, let's look at one another as brothers and sisters on this planet, no matter what part of the world we come from. That's one thing that we all have in common, is that we're human. Another thing that we should have in common is the fact that we all want to live peaceably within this world. Why do we need animosity and hate towards one another? Why do we hate another individual because the color of their skin is different than ours? Or even their belief system is different than the one that we have? Or their appearance is different than ours? Where they come from is not where we come from. They don't speak the same language as us. Why do we hate anyone unjustly? Have you asked yourself that question? And I'm appealing to the individual right now, not to the parents of some of those who have been taught and grown up with hate, especially those that are white supremacists. I'm speaking to the common man. So, as it relates to the atrocities that are continuing to be carried out against black folks, who's going to do something about it? Who's going to take a stand? And as I said before, you don't have to go out with a bullhorn saying black people are people too. You don't have to do anything on that level. But what you can do, all of the ethnic groups that I just mentioned, what you can do is every time you go out in society, in the public, don't assume that the stereotype that has been laid out for blacks is true. All people are not the same. Neither is how we see whites. All whites don't hate black folks. All whites are not discriminating against black folks. They're good people of all hues and ethnic backgrounds. There's only one group that has an issue with us, and I've already mentioned them. So, whites, yellows, reds, and even black folks, take a stand today. And all of you that are not black, as I began to say a second ago, but I did not finish it, when you go out into your social events and you see blacks and you make eye contact, speak. Be cordial. Shake a hand. Treat black folks as if that's how you want to be treated. And stop walking around with this learned fear. You watch too many television shows that depict black people in a way in which the white power structure wants it to be. After all, they control the media, the papers and the television and the radio and the internet. So they're always going to view and portray black folks as being lazy, drug addicts, thieves, liars, good for nothings, don't take care of their children. You see, these are all of the narratives that they have conjured up. They've manufactured these to make the world believe that we don't belong. What do you believe? All of you that are listening to me right now, what actually do you believe as it relates to how black people are portrayed in our society? So I begin by asking the question, where are the black leaders? All of us, all of those that are listening to me right now that are black or African American, if you choose to use those, are you a leader? Not necessarily of the people. Are you a leader in your own home? What are your principles and your standards? Do you have any? Do you believe in your blackness? Do you believe in who you really are and what you represent? Do you represent anything? It's time to stand for something or fall for anything. So, I consider myself a leader. Every time I get on this platform here and I'm speaking to someone out there in the internet world that's listening to me and watching me, I want to always be kind and pleasant and be able to articulate what my viewpoint is concerning various topics and or subjects. I don't always talk about blackness, as it were, but today I just wanted to touch a little bit on it and just simply say I'm proud to be who I am and what I am, because it was what I was born as. It's no different than an Asian man or woman being born into the world. They're proud to be Asian. There are people who are proud to be German, Russian, Japanese, Mongolian, white, or Caucasian, or Spanish, or Hawaiian. You should be proud. And no one should tell you anything different about you and your heritage, because it is who you are and what you were born to be. But above and beyond your heritage and who you were born to be, always remember that you are human and that we are all human. That's the common denominator. So be good to one another, because we all share that in common. And it's not about color, and it's not about race. So when I ask where are the leaders, the black leaders, start at home and take control over your own life, over your own destiny, and of your family. Then you have begun to be your own leader. This is not exclusive to just blacks or African Americans. This is for everyone, but I'm pointing out us in particular because we are the ones that are constantly under the microscope and under scrutiny. That was all I had to say. This is Brother Teacher. You have a blessed day or evening wherever you might find yourself, and so long.